Hey there, welcome to Cooking with Violet Vixen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a different variation on lasagna, spice lamb lasagna. Here's what we need. There's quite a few ingredients to it, so first of all we're going to start off with a large saucepan and we're going to get all our ingredients in and we're going to leave this to simmer for 40 minutes. Start off with 2 tablespoons of olive oil and get that nice and hot. Grab your chopped onion, in it goes. Give that a good stir around. Just come in closer. Okay, this way you can see what's going on now. Once that's brown, grab your lamb mince. For 50 grams, I've got 500 grams. Now that your onions are starting to look nice and brown, grab that lamb mince. As I said, I've got 50 grams over. It's not going to make too much of a difference in a lasagna. So, grab that in. Wash hands. Okay, and get your stirring spatula. I like this one because I can use it to break up the meat as well, and start breaking up that meat as it starts to brown. Back your heat off a bit now because it's getting really hot, so instead of on 6, turn it down to about 3. Just give that a real good stir. Now when it comes to chili powder, you either like chili or you don't like it. I don't mind spicy, but sometimes it can be a bit too much. So this is why on the ingredients list I've got 1 tablespoon or less to taste of chili powder. Now at this stage my recipe says to put 2/3 of the amount in. So I'm just going to put about a teaspoon in and I'm probably going to leave it at that. So measure that. Just give that a final stir. If you think it's cooking too slow, boost the heat back up to about 5. We don't want to stew it, but we don't want to be here all day as well. And once you can see no pink in there, sprinkle that chili over the top. So as I say, if you're using your tablespoon, 2/3 of that, so put a teaspoon in anyway. That'll probably be about 2/3 of it. Don't quote me on that, please. Give that a real good mix through. Just put that chili powder out of the way. Our next step is going to be add the green capsicum, the tomato concentrate, we'll do that first. So green capsicum, I always try and go for the smallest capsicum I can get because you're going to get the flavour no matter what. So in that goes. Give that a good stir through. And with the 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, what I like to do is buy them in the twin pack and use what I need, and then I put them in the bottom of the freezer. That is not a tablespoon, but that's what I'm using. So the other way you can buy it is you buy them in a box of, I think it's 3, and there are 2 tablespoon or 1 tablespoon concentrate. I normally try and get those. So this is definitely more than I need, but we're going to get a nice tomatoey flavour, so we're going to go with it. Get that in. Once again, I like to stir everything as I add it so that we're getting it all mixed in. As you can see, it's still frozen, so that's going to break down nicely during this little adventure. Okay, next up we are doing our seasoning being salt and pepper. If you don't like a lot of salt and pepper, don't add a lot of salt and pepper. You're probably going to get salt from other things that are in there anyway. So just give it a good crack of salt. Same with the pepper. I'm not much of a salt person, but I do like the cracked black pepper, so I will go to town on that one. Okay, once again, give it a stir through. You can probably see now that ice cube of concentrate is breaking down. Another way you can do it is you can freeze it into 1 tablespoon lots, just in a little bit of cling wrap, and then put them in a Ziploc bag. It's another way to do it. Or you can just, as I say, use extra the second time round. Depends. If you want that more tomatoey taste, go with the second option. Okay, we are adding our stock, which is 450 mils. You can either use the stock powder or you can get the pre-mixed one. With my stock powder, I was finding it's getting very hard, like it's drying out, which I don't know why, because it's kept in the pantry. So sometimes I do think the pre-made one's ready, but then I don't know how long the rest of it will keep in the fridge. So if I was using those, I generally buy as much as I need, not some that's going to sit in the fridge. So I don't think it would keep as long as you want it to. Give that a real good stir once again. And our final ingredient before we pop the lid on is going to be our raisins. So there is a difference between raisins and sultanas. Raisins are a darker colour, sultanas are a lighter colour. There's so many variations. These ones, I believe, are Australian raisins. It was what I had left over in my fridge from another recipe. So what I like to try and do when planning recipes is be able to use up things that are in my fridge or freezer or pantry, so I'm not spending a fortune every week on food. Alright, give that a real good mix through. Bring it to the boil, and once it's to the boil, we are going to pop a lid on it, and we're going to let it simmer for 40 minutes. Okay, we're simmering away beautifully. Find the matching lid, pop that on, and make sure your air vent is open or leave it slightly ajar for steam to escape. Turn that down to about 2 and get your trusty timer and put that on to 40 minutes. We'll be back in a little while because I'm going to show you how we're going to prepare. We'll be back in a little while. I'm going to show you how we're going to prepare our lasagna sheets. Okay, so while that's bubbling away nicely, I'm going to show you how we're going to prepare our lasagna sheets and grab a lasagna pan. So I have actually this one that's specially for lasagna, and we had to weigh out 175 grams of sheets, which is that many. We're going to boil these in salted water for 5 minutes, and then we're going to drain them. This is just so that they're ready to go. Rather than keeping a whole box and you go in the pantry and you go, oh, I must have heaps of lasagna sheets. No, and you find out you don't. Just quite simply do that with a Ziploc bag, and then that's going to take up less room. We've still got 35 minutes bubbling away here, ticking away. Every now and then just lift the lid on that and just check on it and give it a stir. Okay. Just so you know, yogurt's measured in funny ways. Obviously when you buy it in a tub, it's 170 grams. Yet in the recipe I had to measure it out. So 150 mils is basically your whole little 170 gram jug, or little pot I should say. Use the Jalna one. That one's a pretty good one to use, or some form of Greek yogurt as your plain yogurt. With this, we're going to put this in a jug with our egg, and this is just going on top of the lasagna. Okay, so into our jug goes our yogurt, our 1 beaten egg, and our 15 grams of chopped walnuts. Just mix all that about. There you go. That's what that looks like. At this stage, if you're choosing to add more chili powder, add the rest of it now. I'm just going to put about 1/4 of a teaspoon in. So our final ingredient is a red capsicum. De-seed it and chop it up into pretty little rings. These are going on top of the lasagna before it goes in the oven. Just make sure you've got none of these bits in there and no seeds. At this time, with 10 minutes to go, you want to get your water boiling to cook your lasagna sheets. Also get your oven set up on 190 for cooking the lasagna. So I've got my pot of water on. Once it starts boiling, we will put the lasagna sheets. So we've got the lasagna sheets boiling for 5 minutes. And it's time to take our meat sauce off. Just keep an eye on this. So we don't want it to bubble over. We'll turn that down now. So our lasagna sauce is cooked nicely through for 40 minutes. That has been lifted off. You've got a little bit of residue in there, so just try not to use that, but nearly ready to take the lasagna sheets out and drain them on absorbent paper towel. Okay, after 5 minutes, lift them out with tongs. Just drain them on your absorbent paper, and we're ready to build some lasagna. Let's go. Okay, to assemble the lasagna, spray your pan, spoon some meat on the bottom. layer your sheets on the top. Hoping these aren't stuck together. Ow! They're very hot. You can't let them cool for too long though. Okay. Alternatively, if you want to skip this step, use fresh lasagna sheets. Ow. Leave them to cool for a little bit. Okay, they cooled down quicker than I thought they would, so let's get back to building lasagna. Your sheets don't have to look perfect. Just as long as you're covering the meat section. Spread it about. Go for another layer. It didn't help that these got broken in the box as well. So these are normally pretty good in this dish. Okay, I'm going to go one more layer. This is going to be our last layer. This is not normally how I do make lasagna, however it's one way of making it. Possibly easier to get the ready prepared ones, then you don't need to do this step. Which I normally do use those ones anyway. Because if you use these, you need to cook it for longer. It's near enough. Okay, spoon the last of the sauce over the top. Put that juice in as well. Even it out a little bit. On top of that, you've got your yogurt, egg and walnuts with your chili sauce. Dollop this over the top. And don't worry, it should spread while it's cooking. We'll find that out in 20 minutes. Okay. Perfect. Now, our final step, get your beautiful capsicum rings and just place them over the top. Just to decorate. Squish them all in. Awesome. And because it may bubble over, pop it in a tray. This is going in the oven at 190 for 20 minutes. So here we go. There you have it. Spiced lamb lasagna. Thanks for watching Cooking with Violet Vixen. I'll catch you next time. Bye.